from last time.
All right. It says we're live.
It says we're live on Facebook.
Yeah, we are live on Facebook. So
are we? All right.
All
right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so you see on your cell phone what's popping up on Facebook?
Not yet. I see it live on the computer. So
oh, cool. I'll go to mine too. Let's see here.
We are live.
Hey,
check us out.
It's a little delayed. I see it. How about that?
I'm going to share it out to all my people.
Do it.
And yeah, we are.
Cool, man. It worked. How about that?
Easy. This is like the future.
Technology, man. Technology. I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
This thing.
Thank you, Ryan Roxy, for giving me the good info.
Absolutely, Ryan. I watched your interview. It was great. So I enjoyed that.
Those that don't know who Ryan Roxy is, he's the guitar player for Alice Cooper. He's been with them for, I think close to 20 years now.
Long time, yeah.
15, 20 years. So he's a good dude. He's done a lot of stuff with our students here at the Rock Academy.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
As have you.
I enjoy it, man. That's what's a lot of the reason we do what we do, man, to give back and pay it forward.
Yes. So it was, I think it was close to 3 years ago now that you guys were in town here.
That is correct.
At Pleasant Valley High School.
That is correct. Yeah, man.
You and James.
That's right.
So
it was fun.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to take some questions if anybody has them in the Facebook chat, and then we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. So
thank you all for joining us.
Those of you that don't know, Kent here is the drummer for Luke Bryan, and as like the rest of us, is stuck at home with nothing to do for who knows how long.
Who knows? Who knows?
So what are you doing to pass the time?
Man, I am, other than the kids stuff, musically, other than taking care of the fam, I'm trying to do as much online recording as I can. We had our last session in person the 16th, so I guess a week ago yesterday. Okay. And hopefully we can continue that. But I've got a couple things in the pipeline as far as just doing some recording here at home. I'd like to do some online tracking, and then I've been kind of dabbling into giving lessons, which I've kind of been hesitant to do anyway because I use the term loosely, of course, but I'm a self-taught drummer. I didn't go to school and stuff to read music and all that stuff, so I don't know what I would have to offer someone other than some great stories or how do you do that drum fill and blah 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 or whatever. But if that helps anybody out, then I'm all for it. So
yeah. So how'd you get your start?
I got
family, right?
I did, yeah. My dad and mom were in a band together at a very, very, gosh, I can remember as early as 2 years old. I remember little snippets of my life back then, and I remember them rehearsing in the basement. And so they divorced when I was 2 or 3, and then we moved to Florida. But anyway, I ended up moving back to Kentucky, and then out of high school got a gig with my dad's band, who had been around for many, many years, a band named Uncle Elijah. So I did that for a long time. And so I did that out of high school, and then kind of played in a couple other local bands, and then got noticed or got my name passed forward from a gentleman named Carl Shannon from K93, a country station back in Kentucky. Back then it was K93. And passed my name forward to a guy named Anthony Smith out of Nashville, an amazing singer-songwriter. And he took a chance on some nobody out of Kentucky. And I went and auditioned in Nashville. And then from that gig led to the Pantillis gig, and the Pantillis gig led to the Luke gig. So I'm very blessed and very lucky to have accomplished what I have. So
cool. And how long have you been with Luke now?
12 years. 12 years now.
Man. Did you guys did you have a tour lined up?
We do have a tour lined up. Yeah, it's supposed to start toward the end of May. And as of now, that's the plan. I don't know, otherwise. So that's what we're going for,
Well, so
hopefully.
you're in your drum room at home right now.
I am. Yeah, I'm upstairs. Yeah, I've got a drum room / studio / an office back there. My wife's got an office, little my craft office back there. I've got drum sets piled up around here, guitars, and my little man cave, as you know, as it
I
is.
love it. So for me, this is actually the first time, and I couldn't tell you how long that I had drums set up at home.
Oh yeah.
Like I've always had my studio, so if I ever needed to rehearse or practice anything, I just go to the studio.
Yeah, that's it's so handy. I mean, my wife, bless her heart, that was one of the deals when we were looking for another home, to have me an area where I could record. We had already talked about I was going to buy some stuff to get a little studio started and do some online tracking, because that's where, you know, the budgets being what they are and stuff for studios nowadays. I was like, well, I mean, why not? You know, I've got some downtime at home. Let's go for it. And I spent, you know, you can get started for a relatively not very expensive, you know, your mics and a couple preamps and you know, just monkey around with placement of the drums and tones and miking and things like that, and you can do it from your home as well. It's rather easy nowadays.
So talking of that, we'll take our first question off the chat.
All right.
This is from actually a former student of ours. She's actually 21 now.
Oh wow.
I forget how old. Sorry, Frankie. I don't remember how old. But she wants to know, what is your recording setup at home?
My recording setup, as far as drums, I kind of interchange them, but my main kit is a 60s Blue Sparkle Ludwig kit. It's the pre-serial date kit. I always wanted a vintage kit, and about 8 months ago or so, 6-8 months ago, I finally got one. I went to Nelson Drum Shop here in Nashville, and the guys were very cool and helped me pick out a kit. And we tried 2 or 3, and this was the one. Blue Sparkle, just a 13, 16, 22-inch kick drum. And I use my club date, Ludwig club date as well. I've got black dot heads on that one, so it gives a little more of a Bonham-y kind of wide open, bigger. I don't want to say the word thuddy, but a little less, not as boomy sound as the Ludwig's do, or as the vintage kit does, which I dig. I mean, I love that kit. So, but I use 2 Focusrite preamps. I've got 16 channels I can use. I use a mic all the toms. I run a mic on the kick drum. I use 2 mics on the snare drum, and I use a room mic, and I use 2 overheads. I would like to get stereo room mics at some point, but just a very basic setup. I kind of messed around. I can turn you around here. I'll do the best I can here.
All right, hold on, people. Here we go.
I don't know if you guys can see, but it's over there in the corner. Underneath the Zildjian poster, but there's my new kit that's supposed to go out on tour this year. So we're just kind of sitting there waiting to be played. But yeah, just a simple setup. I kind of messed around with the placement of the drums and set them up in 2 or 3 different spots. And that seemed to be the best spot sound wise, as far as throwing the sound. It hits a wall, and it's kind of got some cool stuff happening. So it works out nicely.
Very cool. So another question we have, this is from one of our young students, Parker Tubbs.
Hey, Parker.
So Parker wants to know, what's your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play.
Yeah, so when you're out on tour.
I honestly, my favorite song to play is a song called Roller Coaster, which is technically not hard, but it's just I got a nice pocket. It's just very comfortable. And then on the choruses, it's got a nice 4 on the floor, big. It's just, I love that song. It's not overly technical. It's a feel thing. I don't know what it is about that song. I just think it's a perfectly constructed song. I think it's a lot of fun. It lifts really nicely in the choruses, and it's got nice dynamics in the verses. So I like playing that one a lot. There's several, but that's the one that I really, really dig playing.
Okay. And
it's a good question.
Too.
Yeah, it's a fun song. You know, it's always got something cool going on the video screen behind me, and it's fun. It's a fun, feel good summer song. So
cool. So what's it like? Like, most of us have never had the opportunity that you've had to play sold out arenas and stadiums night after night, like you guys have.
Well, it's truly overwhelming. Like it's just such a rush. I mean, when those lights come up, I automatically revert to that 8-year-old kid out in the audience that saw Kiss for the first time, or I saw Van Halen or whoever, and I just remember that feeling I had, and I still have that feeling on the other end of it. I remember I went and saw Kiss and Alice in Chains, and I remember watching the drum techs, and I remember watching the guitar techs, and just the pure excitement that I have. And sometimes to this day, I still pop out about 10, 15 minutes before the show starts, and I would just watch everybody in their element. I watch the drum tech and I watch the guitar techs doing what they do. And it's mesmerizing to me. And I truly I don't take a bit of it for granted. I enjoy what I do. And the feeling is just, it's like the first time you play a show every time, it's just, everything goes away. All the if you've had a bad day, or the dog's sick at home, or your little one's not feeling well, all that, you put it aside and you deal with it afterwards. It's truly overwhelming and a blessing to get to do that, and to be at this level. I never ever in a million years thought it would be this big. So
Yeah.
pretty great.
So do you have like a favorite stadium? Because you probably played almost every major stadium.
We've played a lot of them. We played a lot of them over the years. I think my favorite is just because of the history, and I remember seeing the '85 Bears. We played Soldier Field.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Bears fan. So
yeah, see, so you're Bears. I'm a Dolphins fan, so we were the only team to beat you guys that year, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Or one of two, whatever it was. But anyway, that team is just, Walter Payton and Singletary. That's probably, in my lifetime, the best team I've ever seen. The Patriots have had some great teams, but I truly think the Bears were the best all-around team I ever see. So the history, Walter Payton and Willie Gault and Jim McMahon, everyone, just so much going on. The Singletary, so much going on that team, and to be able to walk in there and just, you still felt the presence of that greatness.
Even though it's like a spaceship inside.
It's incredible, but outside it looks
yeah
like a Coliseum, or so. I don't know. It's just
so
it's just it looks incredible. So that's really cool. And there's a theme here, I guess. There's a Chicago theme, but Wrigley Field's always special. Ryne Sandberg's my favorite baseball player of all time. I have his jersey actually hanging up right there. I wanted to be Ryne Sandberg when I played baseball, so he was my favorite. So getting to play Wrigley Field. Ryne Sandberg, man, that guy.
Because me and you, I think we're about the same age.
Yeah, I'm 40. I'll be 44 in October. So.
All right. Well, my mom tried to remind me that I'm going to be 44 in December.
See, so we're like, close.
That's a long way off. Let's not.
That's right. That's right. I know I jumped the gun on us there a little bit, but that's
right now.
That's right. That's right. See, so I'm not 44 until October. So, but yeah, Ryne Sandberg, Rhino's the epitome of how I think a baseball player should carry themselves and just play ball.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, there's no sports going on right now.
Yeah.
The Cubs have their new channel, the Marquee Network.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
so they've been replaying like all these old Cubs games that Harry Carey's calling.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And the ironic part about all that is I'm a Braves fan. I've been a Braves fan for a long time, but back, you either had TBS or you had WGN.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed watching the Cubs play. Sandberg and Grace and Dawson and Sean Dunston, all those guys, man. It was just, I don't know what it was. It was influential to me as a baseball fan,
And then you got to play center field and Wrigley Field.
I did, yeah. And you're not supposed to touch the ivy, but I may or may not have went over there and maybe took a little grab and just to get take that vibe in, So
I actually got yelled at Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
we went and saw AC/DC a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And like me and my buddy, we had pit tickets. We were like 10 feet from the stage.
Right.
It was amazing. But then I went to the bathroom at one point, and you got to like walk through the
Yeah.
The pictures.
It's tempting. It's right there.
And they had it all netted off, but I reached for it. Security guy's like,
"Oh yeah,
put it down."
Yeah, they take it very seriously. Yeah, they don't even. Yeah, I mean, but the way it's laid out, you get to walk right by the ivy and stuff. So it's pretty cool. The vibe there's. It's old school, man. I'll dig it. Any other questions? Do we have any?
Just got one. Other than anything you play Luke Bryan wise, what is your favorite song to play on the drums? Asks Cyan. She's actually just signed up as a new student of ours.
Nice, Diane. Nice to see you or talk to you virtually. Man, I tell you, I really like. I put for the fun of it. I put some videos up here and there on my YouTube channel for the fun of it, just to put some content out, have fun with it. Show Me How to Live was one of my favorites by Audio Slave.
Okay.
And I put there's a link on my YouTube if you want to go check it out. But it was just a fun. I was trying to recreate the snare sound and that groove, and that's just such a monumental, powerful song. And I just there's so many. I could go on, Led Zeppelin and all this stuff. But some of my favorite stuff to record actually is Western swing music. I really love playing Western swing music, which is, a lot of people wouldn't think that, but I really, really dig playing Western swing stuff. Like I've done a couple records in the past couple years that was nothing but Western swing, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Wow.
So yeah, see, so there you go, Western swing.
So if you could be in any band, that past or present, who would it be?
Foo Fighters.
Gosh, yes.
Foo Fighters, or
just so I could look at Dave Grohl all night.
Yeah, I mean he's I literally wear my influences on my. I'm cheesy or not. I have, Government Mule is another one of my favorite bands. So it would either get to play music with Warren Haynes, who is one of my heroes, musical heroes, or Dave Grohl. I mean, that guy is just, he kind of does it all. And he's a super cool guy.
Cool. He's the coolest guy in music.
He's the nicest person, one of the nicest people in the industry I've ever met. He took a lot of time. I was, starstruck like everybody else. And I got to meet him at the CMT Awards one year, and he was just the nicest. We talked about Nirvana actually.
Yeah.
And it was just a surreal moment for me, and I will cherish that forever. And then of course getting anything with Kiss, I think would
have
be.
You got to meet Kiss?
I have, yeah. And it was, like you would think. I was just,
Yeah. We did a thing, not on this farewell tour, but the Freedom to Rock tour, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were coming to town. And I'm like, I'm going to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Our students get to meet Kiss. And everybody's like, no way, not going to happen. Can't
right.
make it happen. And I tried every connection I had in the business to make this happen. And finally, a girl that I used to know here in town is in Nashville. She works for Into Promotions. And they were the concert promoters for that tour.
Nice.
And she's like, hey, would you want to do something with your kids and Kiss when they come to town? I'm like,
ironically, yeah.
How did I not think of you? Anyway.
Right.
And they ended up giving us tickets for 30 kids to come to the show.
Oh, wow. That's too cool. Yeah.
And they put it like half of them were right on the side of the stage. Half of them were like on the floor, like 15 to 20 rows back.
Nice.
And then we got to do a meet and greet with them.
Fantastic.
Before the show started.
It's surreal, right? I mean, it's bigger than life.
When we walked into that room, like I've never been so nervous in my life.
Yeah.
I've always thought, like, if I ever got to meet like Gene Simmons, what would I even say?
Right. That he hadn't heard a gazillion times, you know.
And like we walk around there, and there they are, 10 minutes before showtime.
Yeah.
Full makeup.
Yep.
And somebody else that we knew was FaceTime living it or Facebook living it, and I got to watch the video later. I got 17 seconds with the band. Oh,
hey. And it'll last a lifetime, right?
Oh, I'll remember that forever because I got to fist bump each guy in the band.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm the director of the Rock Academy. All these kids that are here are students of ours. Thanks for having us. Boom, boom, boom. Picture. Get out of here. Kid.
Yeah. See ya. We got to move along. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why they're the band that the reason we do what we do. A lot of us, that was just bigger than life.
It was funny. So last year I took my daughters to Disney World, and at Epcot there's the area where you can meet Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Oh yeah.
So the wait miraculously was like 15 minutes. So
that's a win. A win-win situation there.
Because everything else was like usually an hour to get to meet. Like 15 minutes, let's go.
Yeah.
And the look on my girls' faces.
Oh yeah.
When we walked into that room that Mickey Mouse was there.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I was the exact same way with kids.
Yeah, we took my daughter when a few years ago, and starstruck. She got to meet the princesses. I think we spent most of our time waiting in line to meet the princesses, but we were there for her, so that was the deal, you know. And just to look on her faces when she got to meet all these, you know, she was just blown away, you know. So I remember seeing the look on her face, and I think I even teared up. I was just, I was that, I get it, you know. So,
so
that's her Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons right now, or Ace Frehley, you know. So
exactly. So I'm gonna take a couple more questions that we got here.
Man.
Let's see. Craig Bentley, he's actually a new instructor that's coming on with us.
Hey, Craig.
He says, what's something you would tell a bass player in terms of trying to lock in with the drummer?
Listen. Just listen. Don't overplay. Don't listen, because I mean the kick drum and the bass drum have to be one, and it goes both ways. If the drummer gets too busy on the kick drum, it's going to rub with the bass guitar. So I just say less is more. Less is more, note wise. I mean, just pocket. It's all about pocket. The foundation of the song is bass and drums. So keep it simple. Don't divert or don't deter from what's going on musically. I think less is more. Always listen to each other.
Awesome. Then another drum student of ours,
Cooper, what's up, bud?
He wants to know what's your favorite drum to play, which I'm guessing that of your drum kits that you have.
My favorite drum set or drum snare. My favorite snare to play, recording wise, is it's a 5x14 Ludwig Supraphonic. Whenever I record, that's the #1 snare drum I put up. It's just got that thing. It's just special. Live, I use a Black Beauty, a 6.5x14 Black Beauty. Hands down, one of the best drums on there. There's a reason those two particular drums are the most popular drums on the planet. And they're very diverse. You can detune, tune them up, tune them in the middle. They're going to sound great. And my favorite drum sets to play are Ludwig classic maple kits. I love the classic maple drums. That's what I use live. I've always used the classic maple since I've been with Ludwig. Every drum, every snare, every drum set owns classic maple.
Wow, cool. All right.
Except my Club Day kit.
Okay. So, is there an artist that inspired you to play? Wants to know Izzy. She's one of our students.
An artist that inspired me to play.
Yes.
My dad and mom, and then my cousin lived next door to us at an early age, and he had a rock band. My mom and dad had a more of a top 40 band. You know, they played everything from Linda Ronstadt to Fleetwood Mac to the Gatlins to more top 40 type stuff. Where he was playing Kiss, Alice Cooper, Foghat or whatever, Steppenwolf, more along that side of stuff. So Led Zeppelin. So I cut my teeth on both, you know, and I've got to play music with the Gatlin brothers. I got to do about a 6-week run with them, and it was just closing my eyes and hearing those voices of the voices I heard when I was a child was surreal to me, you know. And it was a lot of shuffles and very traditional country. So it automatically took me back to, I remember hearing that as a child, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so.
Did you keep it together on stage?
What's that?
Were you able to keep it together when you were on
There
stage?
were moments, you know, early on where I would close my eyes and just kind of get lost in the moment so much. Just like I said, when we would play All the Gold in California, I would just kind of get taken aback. Like, this is what I heard and grew up listening to, you know. And that's, you know, Fleetwood Mac and Led Zeppelin, all these bands are such big influences on me, and I still listen to it and get inspired by it today. But anyway, to answer your question, long-winded answer was my mom and dad and my cousin Lynn were the reason I started playing music.
Cool. Let's see what else we got here.
How many viewers do we have, by the way? I don't even.
We are currently sitting at 33.
Hey, all right.
And so if you're watching this, share it out to your friends.
It. Please do. Yeah, we'll sit here as long as we have to.
We might be sitting here for a month.
As it turns out, I'm not doing anything else. I don't know about you guys, but I've got a lot of time on my hands. So till my youngest gets up, and then you guys will probably hear him screaming from up here. So
you have 2 little ones, is that right?
I do. I've got a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it's go time. I mean,
Yeah.
between the hours of 5 and 6 in the morning. Well, they've
5
been
and
sleeping
6.
until 7. Oh, yeah. They've been sleeping until about 7 lately, so I can't complain. That's sleeping in nowadays, 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you go to bed earlier, then you wake up
you know what? It doesn't matter. We tried that. We tried the whole let's keep them up till 9 and then they'll sleep in and sleep later.
Yeah.
Not with these.
I miss the days when my kids would nap.
Yeah, he still naps. She stopped napping it too. So
yeah,
we're lucky. We're over that hump. So we'll see.
Like my older daughter, actually tomorrow is her 8th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
So
8 years old.
Unfortunately, she's stuck at home and can't go out and do anything.
Can't go to Chuck E. Cheese on. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she was so excited to have it because usually spring break falls during her birthday.
Yeah.
So she's never able to celebrate her birthday day at school.
Well, prior to them canceling everything, we were already out 2 weeks. We were out a week because of the tornado, and then a week because of spring break, and then all this other stuff happened. So she's already been out a month at this point. So she's chomping at the bit. Bless her hearts. All these kids' days have been taken from them because of this terrible virus. So it's hard on them. So I try to be sensitive to that.
So you guys were all good during the tornado?
Very lucky. Yeah, it hit about 4 miles on each side of us. Hit about 4 miles away. There's a Kroger in Hermitage area that it hit. It hit a subdivision over there that got really bad. And then there's a subdivision and middle school on the other side of town going toward Providence that it hit and just hit some folks that we know's house, some drummer friends. And
saw Steve.
Steve Messmore. Yeah, I didn't want to say his name. But Steve's place got hit, and that guy's just got the best attitude about it. He seems to have the best attitude. He's still got us.
They're making joke videos about.
Yeah, I love it. He's something else. He's something else. God bless him. I love that guy.
Which, if none of you have seen Hot Country Nights yet,
the best thing going, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. You want to laugh and brighten up your day if you're having a bad day? Hot Country Nights. Trust me, it's awesome.
It was great. They played here about a year ago.
Oh, did they play there at the venue? Did they play at Rascals?
No, they opened up for Dirks.
He opened up for himself. Yeah, I remember him doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin Murphy had done something with us that day.
Oh, Kevin Murphy's the man. Yeah.
John Party was on tour with him. So
yeah.
Murphy did something with us that day, and he's like, "Make sure you get to the show early."
Oh yeah.
You gotta see this.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin Murphy, I love that guy. He's absolutely a beast.
Yeah, he's a
sweet man.
So and like we were down in the pit area, me and my wife and some friends, and nobody even realized that's who it was.
Oh yeah, no clue.
But after a while, and I didn't even tell my wife I knew who it was.
Yeah,
and she's like, "I think that's Dirk. Dirk's with a wig on."
Like, no, can't be.
Like, no,
he's probably getting ready for the show.
Yeah, he's gotta be. He's gotta be backstage, like doing something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Cheryl Atkinson wants to know, how did you meet Luke?
How did I meet Luke? A guy that I used to play in a band with, a guy named Keith Horn, tremendous bass player. I played within a band with Anthony Smith. Okay, so in between Anthony Smith, when Anthony decided to get off the road, I got the Pam Tillis gig. And then I played with Pam about 5 years, and she had to take about a year off. So it was kind of up in the air what I was going to do next. And I got a call from the bass player, Keith Horn, that played with and Anthony. And he goes, "Hey, man, there's this new artist I play with, a guy named Luke Bryan. And they're looking to make a change. Are you interested?" And I was, he barely got the sentence out. And I said, absolutely. Because ironically, Luke had opened up for Pam at Centennial Park here in Nashville. And I remember seeing him and going, that guy's got something. He's got the thing. Whatever it is, he has it. He's just
a lot of women think it's his rear end.
It may or may not be. I don't know what it is, but he's got the gift, and he brings you in, and he's a good dude, and it shows. Yeah. On what you see is what you get, and I was like, I like that. I really dig this guy. So I said yes right away. So I went and hung out with the band, and we played some songs, and I would safe to say that was probably my audition process. They didn't call it an audition, but it was like, go down, let's go play. And let's hang out and see if it jives. And that's the first day I met Luke. And then I got the gig, thank goodness. And here we are 12 years later. So that was the first day I met Luke, was at rehearsal. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So most people probably don't know that you are now a solo artist also.
Oh gosh. I've been writing here the last couple of years, trying to dip my feet in that water, as a lot of folks are. And there's a couple songs I've written by myself. And there was one I wrote, a song called Walk Tall. And it turned out pretty cool, you know. And I've been doing a lot of co-writing with other guys. And I was really proud of this one because it was one I did by myself. And I don't ever want to be an artist. I put it out for the fun of it. I like being the guy behind the guys. I like being in the back and where I belong, behind a drum set. But I also enjoy singing a lot. I enjoy singing harmonies on things. And so whenever I get the chance to, I like singing on projects. Just, I don't ever say, hey, that's me. But I enjoy harmonies and things like that. So anyway, I wrote this song and I was like, it's just sitting here on the Dropbox, and it was an acoustic-y kind of thing at first. And then James, our bass player, goes, hey man, why don't you rock this thing up a little more? Let me put some guitar on it and just trust me, I hear this. And then after he got to talk about it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll put like a Zeppelin-y kind of vibe, drum groove to it, kind of When the Levee Breaks kind of vibe. And I cut the drums right over here. We had everything done. And then a guy named Joe McGinnis, a buddy of mine, exceptional artist, singer, songwriter from up north in New York, who I've done some writing with as well, put acoustic on it and put a resonator guitar on it for me. And then we tracked everything else afterwards. So I ended up putting the drums over top of that. Anyway, yes, I put a song out for the heck of it. It's probably going to sell maybe 5 copies, but I'd put it out for the fun of it because nobody's going to hear it if it's sitting on my Dropbox. Yeah. And, like I said, I was proud of it, so I might as well put it out and just for the fun of it. And hopefully people will enjoy it. That's I'm not going to get rich off of it. And I know that. I just wanted to put it out and let people hear it and have a good time with it and hopefully dig it, So yeah, a song called Walk Tall. While you're promoting it, I might as well promote it since you brought it up.
Yeah,
song called Walk Tall. It's available on, I think, most everything, iTunes and Spotify, I believe. So yeah, if you just Kent Slucher, Walk Tall, if you want to listen to it, go check it out. It's fun. I had fun with it. So.
Yeah,
but thank you for bringing that out. Yeah, I actually forgot I even put it out at this point. There's been so much going on.
You did.
I did. There's been so much going on lately. It's like that's the least of my.
That's probably what you're listening to in your ears right now.
I'm not even listening to you. I'm reading your mouth really good, and I'm reading. Yeah. But why not?
Yeah. Heidi just asked where can we get it. So on all of your platforms,
iTunes, Spotify, I think, Amazon Music, I believe. I'm not sure, or you can, just go download it if you want to, or stream it, or whatever you crazy kids do nowadays.
Yeah. Let's see. Going through some more. Taylor, one of our. Hey, everybody, look at that cup he's got.
Oh yeah, look at that. So our bass player's wife makes these cups. I was like, I want a cup. I was over there. We were doing some recording one day, and I saw this finished. And I was like, man, that looks like a drum set I would really dig. And I said, could you make me a cup in that? She did. Look at that. Hannah Cook. If you want a cup, go see Hannah Cook, bombard her Facebook, and she'll make you a cup. Just say you want a cup that looks like a drum set, and there you go. You'll get that. I love it. Little drumsticks on the top there. Yeah.
Okay. So Taylor, one of our young female students.
Hey, Taylor.
Wants to know, what was your first song you ever performed, like that you learned?
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. I would probably say, if I can remember back then, it was either Wipeout or Johnny Be Good. I would probably lean more toward Johnny Be Good. I think was the first song I ever played. And then I kind of went into, in the 80s, I learned some Judd's songs. There was a band named Second Helping. They used to play one of my dad's, it was one of the bands that circulated in that area. That was a really popular band, and they'd let me get up and play with them sometimes, and I'd do some Judd song or something. Have Mercy. I think it was Have Mercy. Have mercy on me. I played that. So that was in the mid 80s probably. But Johnny Be Good was my first one.
Wow.
Johnny Be Good or Wipeout, I would say, because you get to show off when you're a kid. Or your parents want to. All right,
yeah.
all right, you get up there and show them what you can do, or whatever.
And
so
everybody's always amazed if you play Wipeout.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Look at that kid go.
Look at him go. That's my boy. So.
All right, Steve Campbell wants to know, what's the coolest thing about being in Luke's band, both musically and personally?
It's just the camaraderie. I mean, it's just we're brothers. It's a family. I love those guys. They've been very good to me, and it's just we. Even though we're off the road, we still send texts to each other and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or we'll send a silly meme or something. It's family. It goes well beyond what's on stage, and we jive really well on stage. We have a good time, and there's nothing can see. We have a good time when we're on stage. It's not for show. We're legitimately having fun and cutting up with each other and laughing. And if we mess up, we raise our hands and laugh, and Luke laughs at us. It's just a cool vibe. There's nothing uptight about it. There's nothing not fun. I mean, it's fun. If you can't have fun doing what we do, it's just you're in the wrong business, because it is just it's exceptional. So the best thing is just getting to play music with your friends. As Luke has put it once, you get to go camping with your best friends or with your buddies every week, and hang out, and so that's what we do, and we try to approach it. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be there, So it's a family. We have a good time.
Perfect. All right. What's the hardest song to learn of Luke's?
The hardest. Well, that's a really good question, Heidi. Recently, in the last year or so, he has a song called "Light It Up," and a guy named Greg Morrow, who is an absolute legend, plays the majority of stuff on his records. I'm not sure who's played the majority of stuff on his new record, but I do know Greg has played the majority of stuff on his other records. And he has this drum fill in "Light It Up" that I literally, for the first time in a while, I had to sit down and decipher and break down a drum fill, because it was so outside the box for Greg, because he normally keeps it somewhat simpler. And I heard this and I went, whoa, like I was like, oh my gosh, what's he doing? And I kept rewinding it and rewinding it. And so the hardest part about it was the placement of it and trying to make the strokes and everything even and not want to rush the drum fill. And actually, there on YouTube, I put a breakdown of that drum fill. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. But
hey, what's the your YouTube channel?
It's just Kent Slucher. Yeah, just go to the YouTube channel and there's a breakdown of the drum fill. It's just this. It's a pattern between the floor tom and the kick drum and the snare drum going into the bridge, and it's a tricky little booger, man. It took me a while. Like I said, I'd sit down to it and I would slowed it down, and I got the stems from the session. I was like, wow, Greg really killed that. So I wanted to do it justice, and it was just I wanted to make it right. So I sat down with that one for a little bit. So to answer your question, Light It Up. There's a drum fill in there that's pretty rocking.
Yeah, most people may not even realize that you're not the guy that plays on all the albums.
I'm not. He's had the same producer for a long time, and yeah, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, there you go. I mean, he had a formula in line when I joined him, and he had these guys that he used, and it's been great. The records are great, and I'm quite fine with being the live guy and recreating, putting my stamp on those songs live, and I'm cool with that. I know I do a lot of sessions, and a lot of it's demo stuff, or I play on independent artist stuff mainly, and I played on a couple Pantelis records, but I do not play on any Luke stuff. He uses guys. I think Shannon Forrest has played on some stuff. Paul Lime played on the first record. Greg Morrow, Evan Hutchings has played on some stuff. So he's got some great players on there, man. And far be it for me to go, I can do that better or whatever. I mean, I know my role, and I'm cool with that.
So you just take what they played.
I take what they did, and I keep the meat and potatoes of the song. I try to do as much justice as I can live. Live it kind of morphs into something else, and the versions kind of change a little bit, or we extend them, or have fun with them and do segues. So I get to put my stamp on them, and Luke lets us be us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of best of both worlds, you know.
All right, I got one quick thing. I saw that Kenny from Rascals was watching.
Kenny, hey,
So
oh,
show him your poster over your head.
hey, Kenny, what's that, buddy? You see that? Hey, I got that poster up, buddy. Thank you for that. I would like to do something else there at some point if we get to go out and play again. Do
Yeah,
it more of a big one, you know. So
absolutely. All right, we got a couple more questions coming in.
awesome.
Some advice that you would give students.
Oh man, you know, it depends on the age, obviously, but I think one of the greatest things my dad ever did for me is obviously the fundamentals of playing. But aside from the fundamentals, is a metronome. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the stuff that you see or hear live now is to a metronome or to a grid or to tracks or all the above. So I think it would behoove anyone, whether it be a guitar player, bass player, drummer, keyboard player, anyone to practice with a metronome, because essentially what's going to happen is when you're not playing to a metronome, your timing is going to be better. You're going to be more conscious of drum fills, because as a human being, when you're doing drum fills, you want to rush them a little bit, and I still do. I try to stay very conscious of pocket, and I think playing to a metronome would help that. I was, you know, when my dad got me the metronome, or told me I needed one when I played in his band, I think that's the greatest gift he ever did for me, because he knew that I would need that tool or be able to do that to kind of take it to the next level. Now, there are bands that don't use them live, but the majority do, because there's so much involved in using a click track or a metronome. I mean, it's synced up to the video behind me. It's synced up, you know, the guitar player or our lighting guy uses it for cues and things. So it's kind of, and drummers, it's not just our job to play to the metronome either. It's everybody in the band's got to be conscious of it. And I'm very lucky that our band guys are very conscious of where the 2 and 4 are, you know. So it makes our job a lot easier. So drummers, get with a practice pad and lay it down with that metronome, and get comfortable with that metronome.
I push that to the students.
Absolutely, it's big.
As much as you can.
Yep, definitely. You can have the chops all day long, but if it ain't in time, it really doesn't matter, does it? You know.
So here's a funny one. Is Luke Bryan better to play for when he's sober or a little buzzed?
Either way, I love the guy. You know, he's just a good dude. He's a good cat. He keeps it together. He don't get up on stage all messed up. I can promise you that. He's got a level head when he's up there.
So yeah, you guys were here, what I said, 3 years ago, I believe it was, and we did a little clinic with you, and so you and James Cook is the bass player of the band, do as many clinics as you can. It's kind of to break up your monotony of being on the road too, right?
It does. It's fun. You know, it's just a way. It's a platform. Being with Luke is really gave us a platform to pay it forward. You know, and kind of share our stories and our knowledge of what we've picked up through the years of doing this. You know, it's kind of given us a way to give back, and kind of just give people insight to some tools that you can use to, you know, when we do our clinics or what have you. We try to approach it as, you know, how can they relate to this? How can they take it to their gig? So we like to approach it like whether you're playing the VFW, you're playing church, you're playing Madison Square Garden, all of the things that we try to tell you apply to whatever you're doing. It's not just, hey, look at us, here's a bunch of notes, and there's a lot of stuff that you won't be able to put into your gig tonight or utilize in what you're doing. So we try to keep the meat and potatoes of music and the gigs and keep it relative to what you're doing as a paid performer.
Yeah.
So,
and I know James uses the chart system.
He does.
Do you chart out?
Or? I do. I have my own way of charting. I don't do the number charts, but I can read the number charts. But I use my ears. You know, when I have to make my own chart, I just obviously as musicians, we're going to hear the chord changes. So what I do is I don't have one by me, but if I have to make quick charts, I just do hash marks. And I do that as bar form, like if it's a 4/4 song, here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. I'll do bars. I'll write out verse, intro, chorus, whatever. And if I'll notate, I'm trying to see if I have anything laid here that I've done recently for a session or anything, but I don't see anything. But I just make notes, just as long as I can read it and I understand it. It doesn't matter if the bass player or guitar player can see it, because it's a good way to learn a lot of songs I picked it up because I had to learn like 30 something songs one time for a gig. I was backing up a bunch of artists, and I had to learn a lot of songs. So I picked up a buddy of mine, Tony Hammonds, who used to play with Montgomery Gentry, showed me this little way of doing this. And so I kind of took it and ran with it and kind of made it my own. Just, you can just do bars, so I kind of make my own charts for things that I need. Now, if I go do a session or what have you at James's or somewhere else, they'll hand you a chart, and everything's in bar form. I'm not a guitar player, so I don't need to know the 3 or the split bars and all this stuff as far as notation wise. I just need to know form and structure of the song.
Yeah.
So that helps.
And if you could probably hand your charts that you write out to some other drummer.
Possibly.
What is this?
Quite possibly.
It might not make sense to them. That's
the thing is it doesn't matter. You can use your own way of doing it and pick it up on your own and whatever works for you. That's all that matters, So
I before we take a few more questions, I just want to remind people that if you do have any questions in the chat down there below us, let him take a drink and catch his breath. He's been talking for a while.
What are we though? 46 minutes. Look at that.
Have we been going for 46 minutes? Holy cow.
Love it. Yeah.
Seems like 5.
It does. The time is just flying.
What was one of your funniest moments you've ever had on stage?
Recently, I started the wrong song off. It was the last tour. Oh, gosh. I want to say we were supposed to do I. And I somehow, and we've done a lot of shows, so somehow I just skipped. My eyes jumped over Do I, and I wanted to do Rain is a Good Thing, which starts with a big blah. Do I does not start like that. It starts with a nice, soft piano guitar thing. It's nice, and that's not what I wanted to play, apparently. I skipped and went right into Rain is a Good Thing, and blah, da, da, da. And our guitar player got on the talk back. He's like, nope, not that one. And I was like, oh, no. And literally, I think I hung my head, and Luke just took it in stride and laughed.
Everybody stopped and started
over?
Oh,
yeah. They stopped, and we started over. It's just...
Everybody heckled you a little bit.
Oh, man. The embarrassment was just off the charts. It took me about 3 or 4 songs to my heart to stop beating so fast. But it was funny. I mean, it was, like I said, it's not one of those high-pressure gigs that you would lose your job over messing up. It's more we take it in stride, and it's a funny moment. And, nobody's perfect. It's live music. And I proved that night that is not the case. I can't even remember where we were, but it was, my heart sank into my shoes. And, it was, and I'd done that before.
You can hide behind the drum kit.
Yeah, I'd tucked my head down, but everything stopped. And, and it was just one of those moments that I look back on and I laugh about. But
start the video over.
Yeah, pretty much that. I'm sure everybody was freaking out. The lighting guys and the video guys were all like, what is he doing? Like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And of course, they're going to hit the song for the right, or hit everything for the right song. And I messed that one up pretty bad, but it happens.
Yeah. You're human, man.
Human.
All right. Farm tour or regular tour? What's more fun?
Well, I love the excuse me, my wife's texting me. Let's see what. Keep going. It's going great. All right. Said my son's waking up, but keep going. She said. She said it's going great. So I really enjoy the farm tour and what it stands for, and I mean, nobody else is doing anything like that. I really love the vibe. But with that being said, I also love the structure of our normal tour shows. Especially indoor. You're at the only thing I don't like about the farm tours is you're at the mercy of the weather. whether
Because they usually happen like October.
it
right?
always happens. We always get rained on and have to make up some stuff. But that again, that's that's going to happen, and that's part of it. I mean, but then when that stage gets set up, and then all these people come running in, and it's standing room only, and you get all the diehards out there that know every song. You could literally pull B-side stuff off every album, and they would know it and probably love it.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and there's nothing else like that. But I like the controlled environment of our indoor shows. You don't have to worry about rain or tornadoes or any of that stuff. Everything's in there, and I think the show looks better inside. But there's a beauty to the farm tour stuff. Nobody else is doing that, and it's given back to the farmers. It's given scholarships to students, and I think that's a beautiful thing that Luke has come up with. And like I said, nobody else is doing that. So to answer your question, I like them both. I like them both a lot, and I look forward to the farm shows every year because they're so unique, and nobody else does that.
All right. Next, a buddy of mine, Steve. He's actually an elementary school teacher.
Hey, Steve.
He wants to know, what was your favorite subject in school?
Mm.
Did you have any teachers that inspired you?
Wow, that's a good question. You wouldn't believe it, but the way I talk. But my favorite subject was English. I did pretty decently in English, and for some reason I had a hard time focusing on math and like even history and things. And I wish I could go back and focus more like on history and chemistry and things like that. But I, for some reason, just wasn't interested. But English, I always could write a paper and things like that. And I remember I had a teacher, Miss Tompkins, who my GRC, if any of my friends from GRC are watching, Ms. Tompkins, and she was hard on you, but for some reason that really stuck with me is she expected a lot out of you. If she saw that you had something or were good at something, she would try to pull that out of you. And I think that's the reason I like that. I think she pushed me to be better, at that. So I remember Miss Tompkins. And I've been out of school since '95, but I remember Miss Tompkins, and I remember a lot of people were, that wasn't their favorite teacher, but I liked her. I thought she was great. I learned from her.
So what if you hadn't have been drums, what would you have done?
I always wanted to play baseball. In my dream world, I was either going to be a professional baseball player or be a professional drummer, and that's the only two things I ever really wanted to be. There were no backup plans, I played baseball most of my life, and I went to high school and played ball, and then it just kind of, me and some friends went and tried out for the Cincinnati Reds, and that fell through, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with it. And then luckily music came back into my life, and it's always been a part of my life, but I played a lot of sports and things like that. And then my dad's drummer of many years quit, and my dad goes, we got to go get you a drum set. I'm like, what for? And he's like, well, so-and-so quit. We got to go get you a drum set. You're the drummer. Didn't ask me. He told me I was the drummer. So, and I was all for it, so I was still underage. My dad was, I want to say I was 17, probably playing 17, 18, playing in clubs with my dad. So yeah, I wanted to be a baseball player outside of this. And I still love baseball to this day. It's my favorite sport.
Yeah.
Love baseball games. And I don't sit and watch them like I used to, but I always keep up with what's going on.
Yeah. What's your team?
I'm a Braves fan.
Okay.
I'm a Braves fan, yeah. Which is weird. Like I said, it's weird with being a Ryan Sandberg fan and the Cubs fan from that era. But yeah, I've been a Braves fan for a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, as a kid, I wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Oh, and there's no denying, and people know me that know I'm a wrestling fan. I would love wrestling, and actually, if I didn't do what I'm doing now, I'd probably like to do something behind the scenes. I've got some friends in the industry and stuff in the wrestling industry that I see what goes on, and it's kind of mesmerizing to see what goes on behind the scenes and how they pull it off. It's pretty incredible, really. So yeah, I love wrestling too. I watch every week. So have since I was a young child. So
I was going to be a pro wrestler. I told my folks I was going to be a pro wrestler, and then I saw Poison in concert when I was in 8th grade.
You're like, well,
and I was like, I got to play drums.
All right, the pro wrestling thing's going to have to be on the back burner, man. You got to play drums now, right?
Yeah, I saw Ricky Rocket, and he's
Yeah,
just
visual. He's doing the thing, man. Yeah,
and like there's lasers and
yeah,
explosions, and there's girls everywhere.
yeah.
And I was
There's a
like,
lot there. Yeah,
I was like 14, and I
yeah.
was like, I got to do that. I
I
got to
saw
play drums.
I saw Poison on the. They opened up for David Lee Roth on the
Okay.
Skyscraper tour, and like there was so much energy. I mean, those guys were just all over the place, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
these guys are out to win it. You know,
What,
so.
was that when Roth had like Steve Vai and
It
Billy
was Steve.
Sheehan?
It was Steve Vai, and it wasn't Sheehan. It was the other guy. But Steve Vai and Greg Bissonette were there, and it was musically just
Just a little
incredible.
bit of talent in that band.
Just a touch. Just a touch. Yeah, those
Holy
guys are
cow.
incredible. Yeah,
All right,
perfection.
let's hit a couple more questions off the chat.
Yeah.
Before we I'll let you get out of here in a few minutes.
I'm good, man. I'm here as long as people are asking questions.
All right. Susie Montgomery says, you may have answered this, but how old were you when you started playing? My 11-year-old son just started playing guitar, loving it.
Okay. I remember playing drums or being at least hitting things when I was probably 3 years old. I have pictures on my phone of 2 and 3 years old and me just barely tall enough to reach the snare drum on a stand, and I have sticks, hitting the drums. So I think I mean 2, 3 years old. It kind of chose me, I didn't choose it. It mesmerized me. So I wanted to play drums my whole life.
Has your your older kid taken any music interest yet?
My little girl has got a great pitch. She can sing. She's you can tell she's got the thing. And my son, he's too little to really tell. He's kind of all over the place. He's all about monster trucks and Blippy right now, and monster trucks and excavators and little dump trucks and all that stuff. But if there's a drum around, he'll hit it, and he loves singing too. His pitch isn't quite as good as sister's yet, but she's got a beautiful voice. Her mama's a singer too. So my wife sang in Branson, Missouri, was in a show and was exceptional singer and did the dancing and the whole thing. And it was quite, I loved going to watch her perform, so she's got the thing, and hopefully between the two of us, maybe the kids will pick up something. If they don't.
Yeah. My older daughter has no interest whatsoever.
Yeah. And you never know, but one day she might just pick it up. And
my 5-year-old, we actually have a program here at the Rock Academy called Kids Rock.
Love it.
And it's a shout out to Dave Simon for Kids Rock.
Dave.
He has this program. It's all structured up for 4 to 7-year-olds.
Love it.
And
love it.
So they do the 4 and 5-year-old kids in the band, the 6 and 7-year-olds in the band, and it's kind of all color coded.
That is so cool.
And so like the drum kit is like the snare is red, the kick drum is green.
Sure.
And then like the guitar, it's like a Squire Mini.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Like just 3 strings on it, and it's all like got these colored stickers on it, so they're really playing.
What a great concept.
And then the keyboards, we put the colored things on those too. So my daughter's in a band called the Taco Pirates.
The Taco Pirates, yeah. I love it. I love it.
She's been doing that now, I think, since October. And now that we're at home, I got the drum kit set up here in the basement. And she's like, Daddy, you got to bring a Kids Rock guitar home.
Love it.
So we can practice. So a couple nights ago, she's like, let's go downstairs and play.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there just playing a simple beat, and she's playing the guitar parts right along with me.
Love it. Like, that's cool. It would definitely make my heart warm if they picked it up. But if they don't, then so be it. If they want to be a engineer or a doctor, I'm cool with a doctor. Be anything you want to be, as long as you ain't hurting anybody or hurting yourself. Be what you want to be,
Yeah. So today she's like, okay, after this thing and before you start your lessons, can we play together?
And you said, absolutely.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to.
Yep. This is funny. I just got to say, I was kind of looking off here. I got a text from my friend Jody, who's listening. Hi, Jody. She said, Liv can sing because her mama is awesome at it. Better give her the shout out to Leanna. So I think I did. But my wife's quite the singer too. So I don't want to downplay that by any means. She sings way better than I ever could. So, and looks a lot better doing it. So.
All right. Amanda wants to know, Kent, how are you surviving without UK basketball?
Oh, it's breaking my heart.
This was
breaking my heart. This was our year. I felt good about it. I say that every year, but I really did feel good about it this year. But it's about like you would think. I'm heartbroken over it, being a big Blue fan, but I'm just trying to wait this thing out, and this too shall pass. I keep trying to tell myself that. I have days where I'm kind of bummed out, and I'm up and down with it like everybody else is. I want to get back out there and tour, and I got to try to be patient, and
But you get some good quality family time.
but that's the silver lining I was getting ready to say is I get to spend a lot more extra time with my family that I normally wouldn't get to, and luckily with the Luke thing, the schedule it permits me to be home more. So now I'm just home even more.
Yeah.
So I'm very blessed with that, and I'm glad that I can be home with them. There's a lot of folks that are still having to, they're on the front lines in the healthcare system, and they're out there facing this thing head on every day. And I just couldn't even imagine. It breaks my heart to people that have lost their jobs and are out of work right now, but I like to think that I do know as a community, Nashville is absolutely incredible, and they stand behind each other. So I know that's probably this case everywhere, and I just hope that this thing passes and we come out of this stronger. And I hope people are ready for some live music, because we're going to go out there and give it to them, So
I think there's going to be a big party in Nashville on this thing.
I think the place is going to go nuts, and I hope so. I hope they go to the bars and absolutely tip the heck out of everybody and tip the band, and I hope that our healthcare workers can go home and rest, because they're probably wore out, and our first responders and all these guys and gals that still have to go to work every day and face this thing, So
My wife is still has to go into work.
See, and there's that too. Yeah,
she's actually works for the local TV station.
Oh, God bless her. See, that's what I mean. There's
she runs the show though.
Yeah, without her, it don't go, right?
Yeah, so everybody else can work remotely from home, and they're actually doing the broadcasts.
Yeah,
from the anchors' homes.
Yeah, I know just me doing what I do in the music industry, I know is struggling right now, but I know beyond that, there's so many more struggling that it's a terrible time right now. But I truly think that, and I got to tell myself this, and just to hold your head up, and this too shall pass, and hopefully we can get through this thing. And just until then, play a lot of music and try to find your happy place. And
as I've told most of our students, every student, I'm like, you will probably never have this much free time again in your life. So
ain't gonna happen.
Take advantage.
Yeah, hopefully this ain't gonna happen again for a long time. I think I was reading. I've read many things like everybody else has. I think World War II. It's like 100 years ago or whatever it was. It's like craziness. But just
so I'm like, take this time,
enjoy it.
Work on your chops, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to keep on keeping on. Yeah, I'm ready for when this thing does happen, and as of now, it's still going to happen in May. So we'll see. That's the way I'm approaching it.
Yeah.
Till I'm told otherwise.
Like with our school here, we've had to, of course, shut down.
Yeah.
Everybody do online lessons. So yesterday was my first full day of teaching online lessons.
It's a different vibe, isn't it? Than being.
Like I actually canceled my last one and put them onto today.
Right.
My brain was just fried.
I understand. You have to think. It's a thought process is totally different, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
And I got my in-ears in.
Right.
To make sure
your ears
they're going well.
Yeah.
My ear fatigue is set in.
Oh gosh, I couldn't even imagine. It's probably like a long day of rehearsals for us. I'm just fried when I get home, and my brain is just mush. Yeah. So I can only imagine how you're feeling. So.
But if anybody wants to do online lessons, you're available.
I am available. Yeah. But as well as you and so many others. I mean, you have so many options and so many better options than myself. That's for sure. But yes, I am offering lessons if you guys want to just Just do. I've been doing it through FaceTime or through the Facebook Messenger thing. If you want to come on and let's do it. 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. Gives me something to do outside of chasing the kids around and playing Blippy. So
you catching up on your Netflix?
We are. I'm not ashamed to admit that I watch Grey's Anatomy with my wife every night. That's our show. That's cool. And holy cow, what the show, man! I mean, I know it's not a very manly show, but I like to think they could probably find a cure for this thing in Grey's Anatomy. That's what my wife sent me a meme, or I saw a meme. It's like, They could probably figure this out on Grey's Anatomy by now.
In
Just
1
fire
hour.
thing.
They could
In
do it
1 hour. In 1 hour, they could sum it all up, and we'd be done and moved on to the next day. But yeah, I watched Grey's Anatomy, and of course Ozark's coming back on.
Is that this week it starts back
I think
up?
it is. I think it's in a few days or two or 3 days, which is one of my favorites. And gosh, what else am I watching? There's so many things.
Have you watched that new Tiger King?
Oh, absolutely. We finished it in 2 nights.
Yeah, so that was the craziest story I've ever heard, man.
I like Keo said, that guy is really bringing some smiles to people's faces right about now, because I don't know whether he knows or not, but he's helping humanity out right now.
Oh yeah,
that guy is. That guy, what a story! Holy moly!
You think your life's messed up right
Holy
now?
cow, man! You think your life's bad? Holy cow! That guy.
So if you guys have not watched Tiger King yet,
do it. Here's your plug. Go watch it.
That is a killer.
Unbelievable. Don't watch it around the kids.
No,
it's not about. There's so much more to it than tigers, but it's absolutely incredible. I love it.
And we don't want to give away any more of the plot.
No. I woke up this morning. Keo had put a video up, an actual video that the guy had done, and God, it just brought a smile to my face right out of the gate this morning.
Was it the Here Kitty Kitty video?
No, it wasn't that one, but I watched that one too out of that. But it's just go do it if you haven't watched Tiger King yet. Like I said, wait till the kids go to bed or whatever, and watch it. It's exceptional.
Yeah,
it's great entertainment.
And then send us a review what you thought of it.
Yeah, it makes your day seem not so bad.
Yeah.
After all, right?
So, are you watching The Masked Singer? My kids love The Masked Singer.
My daughter and wife love it. Absolutely.
Do you watch it with them?
I do. Yeah, we record it and watch it.
All right.
Yeah, I do.
My kids are very excited about the T-Rex.
Oh yeah, she's very concerned about that one.
Do you know who that one is?
I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but
yeah, I got a good idea.
My daughters are a big fan of that person.
I got a good idea. Yep.
We actually took my daughters to go see her in concert about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It was the loudest screaming, high pitched.
My ears hurt. My ears hurt for a long time. It was like probably seeing New Kids on the block in their heyday, or probably now. I'm sure the women still go crazy for them.
Yeah, except they're 40 something.
It's just they're lower pitched screams now. They're not as high as they used to be, right?
Yeah, hearing a bunch of like 7-year-olds scream.
It's insane. It's insane, but I love it. My daughter was happy.
But it was one of those things like my wife's like, should we take the girls? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to spend the money to go see that.
Yeah.
But then like the day of the shows, there was tickets available for like $25.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you got to do it.
She's like, if this was any other concert,
right,
we'd be going.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm like, you're right. I'm like, okay, let's take the girls to go see it. And it was in Cedar Rapids, Cedar Rapids is about an hour 15, hour 20.
Yeah. Well, no, it was one of those things during the show. I looked over and I saw her face, and she was just, so I was. She was very, very excited.
I had my phone out when she came out on stage.
Oh yeah,
and,
it was well worth it.
I videoed my girls counting it down.
Oh, I'd do it again. I'd do it again.
Right there was well worth the money.
Yep.
See my kids' reactions.
I agree. My pockets were a little lighter when I came back home, but that's okay. We got a really cool sweatshirt and the glow stick thingy, glow thingy that you hit. Her brother just hits her with it, but
yeah,
nonetheless.
We got the big poster on the wall.
Oh, we got the whole deal. Oh yeah, yeah.
That is that's a money making machine, is what that is.
Oh yeah, you keep that train rolling.
All right. Cheryl wants to know, what's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, sweet tea, Chick-fil-A sweet tea.
Oh yeah.
I make a point. John Stone, my buddy John Stone, who I went to GRC with, my boy John Stone, he's watching. I want to say hey to him. Hi, buddy. Told me to give him a shout out, so I just did. Sweet tea. I will make a point. I will literally drive from my house, go to Chick-fil-A just to get a medium sweet tea and come home.
They sell it by the gallon.
I did that now because we're not going out as much, so I bought a gallon. And the guy's like, "You're like the second person today to buy a sweet tea." It's like they know who I am when I'm coming through there. He's like, "I figured you'd be through here to get Chick-fil-A sweet tea." And this is the longest I've gone without going to Chick-fil-A in probably years. I feel bad.
What's your go-to?
Man, I like just depends. I like the Chick-fil-A just not the nuggets, but the strips, you know.
Okay.
And I do the grilled nuggets. Just depends on the day.
Yeah. The mac and cheese they have now is.
I try not to eat that because if I do, I'll like it too much. Then I'll just keep going back there
awful.
for that.
It's
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't try it. I'm with you.
So you just stay clear of that.
Sweet tea is my favorite. Or the way Mamaw made it. My aunt makes some great sweet tea. My wife makes some good sweet tea, which is my Mamaw's recipe. Okay. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm a sweet tea guy. Milo sweet tea on the road. We take Milos with us everywhere we go. So yeah.
Killer. Do you like McDonald's sweet tea?
I do. In a pinch, I do. In a pinch, McDonald's sweet tea will do.
We're getting into the serious questions.
We're getting the good stuff now. I prefer Chick-fil-A. That's my favorite, especially in the morning when it's just been brewed. But I like McDonald's.
But I don't like Chick-fil-A's breakfast so much.
See, I like those little chicken minis a lot.
Yeah.
That's one of my I would go do a session out at James' house, and before I went there, I would always stop at Chick-fil-A, get the chicken minis, eat them on the way. I'd be set for the day. I'd be ready to roll. How many songs y'all want to do today? 20? Let's do it.
Oh, that's great. So, man, nobody else has any more questions?
No more questions? How many people are watching right now?
We got 30 people, and not a single one of them want to talk to you.
I don't know. I mean, I know some people on here from school or some drummer buddies or Mom. You're probably watching. Mom probably doesn't know how to work the.
Oh, here we go. Izzy, she's one of our students.
Hello, Izzy.
Do you ever use double kick?
I do. On the end of songs. I try not to do it in the middle of songs because us being drummers, we like to hit things and overuse things sometimes. So I do have one, and I have one set up on the kit here at home just for I can do everything from a metal fusion or jazz fusion song to a straight up country song. So I like to have it there just in case I need it. Which every now and again I'll use it, but not too much. It just depends. Like on the end of songs, the big trash can endings, you know, all that stuff. The shoes and the dryer drum fills, I'll do those with the double bass. But other than that, no. I think there's one section I do kind of a Ray Luzier influenced drum fill in the middle, kind of thing, in a thing. But I like to think of it as a musical part. I don't think it's overdone, but double pedals can get me in trouble, so I try not to use them too much.
Yeah, my theory on double is if you can't keep it steady and play good with one foot,
right? Twos, man,
you ain't gonna do it with two.
And honestly, the reason I use a double pedal live too is if I've had a instance where where my main pedal has broken, so I would play with my left, and that's actually happened a couple times.
Cool.
So. And while I'm on here too, I hope people are watching. I want to give a shout out to Tony Adams, my drum tech, who is absolutely. It just made me think of him. That guy is like second to none. He teched for Scott Phillips from Creed for many years. He's worked on Seven Dust records and Matchbox 20's big records, and that dude is the bomb. So thank you, Tony. It just made me think of it. Can't wait to see you again, buddy. Hopefully one of these days.
Yeah, I'm actually going to try to get Morgan Rose to do one of these.
That guy, what a beast, man! Golly.
So Seven Dust, they're good friends with the guy that lives here in the area, and they came in twice this last year to start working on the pre-production of their new album.
Yeah.
So at that studio, there's not a whole lot of room. So the guy that runs the studio got a hold of me. He's like, "Hey, do you have room that we could bring in 25 people to watch these guys write their album?" And I was like, "Yeah, we have a back room that's we could probably fit 30 people back there."
Wow.
So the guys worked on their new album in my music school for 2 days.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And when it first started, they had a drum kit in there, and Morgan's just
he's a He's a slammer, man. I actually saw him. I'd never met him before. Me and James went to go see Alter Bridge not too long ago. They were here in town. It was before everything happened. It's probably 2 weeks before all that happened, and Morgan Rose was there because Clint Lowry was opening up. I'm sure he came to see Clint. And I saw Morgan. It's like I saw him walking around. I was like, "Oh man, I really want to say something to him, but I don't want to bother him. I don't want to girm him too bad." So I ended up not saying anything. I'm like, "Dag on it." All I would have probably had to do is mention Tony's name or something. But anyway, Tony's got some great stories of them in the studio.
He is the funniest dude. Just
he seems awesome.
Story after story. And of course, we'd want to, if we did this with him, we'd have to put a little censorship.
Right.
Parental warning. He's going to
and that's all right.
Stuff.
That's who he is, man. I dig it. I dig it. And I love that guy. Seven Dust is such an incredible record. Have you heard Clint Lowry's new record?
Not yet.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And live, it was so good. So good.
Just check that out.
He killed it. He killed it. Great, great. There's a plug for Clint Lowry's record. Go get it. It's incredible.
Yeah. It was so cool. Like to see Morgan play
in
the school was one thing.
Yeah.
But then when LJ started singing the vocal tracks,
it's stupid.
I was like,
yeah.
It just took my breath away at first. I'm like, this is not happening in my
school. What an exceptional band.
Yeah.
Just they got a thing, you know.
And good dudes.
Yep. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. And I've never got to meet those guys, but I'm super fan of those guys.
Okay, we got some more questions if you still got time.
I'm down, man. I'm here.
What's your go-to song to show off your skills?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. You know, we have a James and I have an instrumental song that we play in clinics called Meathead. It's called Meathead, and the idea of the song was to come up with a song to kind of show different styles of music within one piece. So there's about 4 or 5 different styles in there. There's a section kind of King's X-ish. There's a kind of a reggae section. There's a 6/8 section. There's a little bit of everything thrown in there. But I do some drum fills that I normally wouldn't do. Some more double kicky stuff and kind of a little more busy on that side. So I guess, or Snake Eyes, which both of those songs again are on my YouTube. I think I did a thing for Zildjian quite a few years ago at this point, but I did a play along to a song called Snake Eyes. It was for one of Zildjian's videos, and it's a little, like I said, it's a little more busy and stuff that I normally wouldn't do. So that's one. Snake Eyes or a Meathead, probably.
All right. Is country music harder to learn how to play?
Country music is very hard because it's what you don't play. It's very easy to get carried away and overplay in general. But the thing about country too is as any song is lyric. It's based on lyrics, as anything is. But I know a lot of country music fans depend and rely on lyrics a lot in songs. So I think less is more. I think you leave room, as you should in any genre or style of music, for the song to do what it's supposed to do, which is you want to hear the lyrics, right? So I think holding back. I think that's the trick, is not playing in country and being very disciplined in what you play or don't play. Not playing too busy on drum fills, not playing too busy on fills going from the verse to the chorus. There's so many ways, it's so easy to overplay and get carried away. And I listen back to, I always reference He Stopped Loving Her Today. When I played with my dad's band, I had a big Yamaha Maple Custom kit. I had 3 rack toms and 2 floor toms, and I used to do this ridiculous drum fill going on. I used every tom I had, and I listened back to that, and today I just cringe, and I just like, oh my gosh. And my dad, bless his heart, he just let me do it and kind of go through
as long as
that phase.
You come back in on the one.
It was questionable, I would say, a lot of the time, but I think it's just country music is a disciplinary type of thing. It's just what you don't play. Rests are a part of music, as James says. It's when you read music, they write out rests, and that's a part of the music. That's a musical thing. So don't play. Just underplay, if anything. If the artist wants you to play more, they'll say play more. Yeah. You never really hear an artist say, "Hey man, could you play more?" It's usually, "Hey man, tame her down a little bit or play less."
Who's a music director in the band?
Michael Carter, guitar player for Luke. He's been with him for many, many years. Great songwriter. He produces Cole Swindell's stuff and some others as well. But he's had a great career. He's been with Luke a long time.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Do you ever play a gong at any shows?
I've got one sitting over here, as a matter of fact, on the Dirt Road Diaries tour. I remember, because I remember the kid I played. I used a gong. I had it just basically because I was trying to do something different. I like kind of messing with the setup a little bit, but I played it on the very beginning of the show and on the outro of the show. I don't even think it was mic'd, but you could hear it coming through the overheads and stuff. But it looked really cool. It looked great. No, it's I've got it. It's sitting right over here, uh, and I did use one. It's a big 52-inch gong. I did. To answer your question, I had a gong, yeah, and I'm sad. I look at it every day. I really want to hit it, but then the kids will want to come up here and hit it, and that's all I'll hear is a gong all day long. So, but yeah, I had a gong. You can go back and see pictures of it. Dirt Road Diaries tour. It was there.
All right. All right. Favorite 3 songs of all time.
Oh man, that's a gosh. Ooh. That's a loaded man. There's so many. Oh gosh, man, that's a tough question. I'll give you 3 of my favorites just in general out of probably many, but I've always liked a song that's always kind of just for some reason hit me a certain way is a Fleetwood Mac song called Sarah. And I think it's just a vibey, beautiful melody. And Mick Fleetwood's one of my favorite players, and just the way he played that song is just I don't think can ever be recreated the way he played it. As many of his songs, he's just such a unique player. But Stevie Nicks has always been one of my favorite songwriters as well. There's a song called "In My Life" that Government Mule. It's just basically an acoustic oriented stuff. So it's a lot of mainly Warren Haynes on that track. A song called "In My Life," which again is a beautiful melody. I think New York Minute by Don Henley is, one of the great tracks. Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. I could go down the list. Obviously, anything Led Zeppelin I love just because of the music of it. Gosh, there's so many. I could go on and on and on and on all day with that one. But, obviously, it's a piece of music. I think Rosanna, obviously, the great Jeff Porcaro. Yeah. Scarecrow by all these songs hit me differently for different reasons, but Scarecrow by John Mellencamp has always been one of my favorite. Just the angst in that song, and Kenny Aronoff just laying down that super solid, incredible drum track. Yeah. There's so many. John Mellencamp from that era is untouchable in my eyes. Just that era of John Mellencamp was so good. So many songs.
Like,
oh gosh.
Go to his concerts, and he doesn't do them the same way anymore, but like 10, 15 years ago, it was the greatest hits album.
Oh, that dude, so many. When the walls come crumbling down. I mean, that drum track is it's got this, I don't know, man. Mellencamp stuff just had this thing that, again, you don't hear nowadays, Yeah. So, but there's many great. Big Wreck. These cats right here, holy moly. If you haven't seen Big Wreck live, do it. It's probably the best sounding show I've ever seen in my life. And Tool, of course. Yeah. But so many. Yeah. I could go down this rabbit hole. There's so many.
Yeah. Tool's coming to town,
dude.
This summer. I hope it doesn't get canceled.
I hope it doesn't either, because you need to go. Have you ever seen Tool?
I have not.
Consider your life changed when you do. You're about to see. It's just it's incredible. Yeah. It's incredible that 3 guys can do that.
So if you can hook me up with Danny Carey somehow.
Oh, well, I got to meet him once. It was through Adam Jones, and Danny's one of the sweetest humans you'd ever meet. He's such a great dude. It's a big boy. It's a big boy, and what a player! Holy moly!
I met him out at NAMM a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and
he's big.
I ran into him he was doing like a Peisty signing that day. And then, right outside the NAMM Convention Center, was it at the Hilton?
Yeah.
Right there. And everybody's just hanging out there.
Oh gosh.
And me and my buddy come walking in, and he's a huge Tool fan. And he about had Danny Carey was standing right outside the front doors of the hotel.
It's overwhelming. I mean, that guy's just so, and without meaning to be, he's just intimidating. I mean, he's such a big just personality. I mean, that guy's just, he doesn't have to say a word, and he walks into the room and it just changes. He's awesome. He's incredible.
So you know that his kit, the metal kit.
Yeah, the Ochiltree thing. Yeah.
So hold on a second. Sorry.
No, what happened?
I
You
stepped
okay?
on the headphone cord,
Oh no.
unplugged myself. But actually, Jeff lives here in town.
Oh wow.
Because he was born here in Davenport, and he lived here for like the first couple years of his life, and then
Wow.
but his mom still lived here in Davenport.
I'll be darned.
She just passed away 3 or 4 months ago, like 92 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeff lives here in town, so
I'll be darned.
it's a good dude.
Yeah, that. Whew, them bass drums weighed. I forget how much they said. Those bass drums he made.
I want to, because Jeff was just doing a thing last year, and I think he was saying like they're close to 200 pounds a piece.
Probably, I could see that.
They would have to like hoist them.
Yeah.
Onto the drum riser.
With a forklift, yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And that snare drum that Jeff designed.
Oh.
That thing's a freaking boat anchor.
I don't know that I've ever heard a drum mix sound like that live. Yeah. So, it's just perfection. You hear everything. You can hear him breathe back there.
Really?
Like you can hear a pin drop. It's perfect. It's perfect.
So I think the show's in July. So
I hope everything works out, because I think everybody who's a fan of music in general needs to go see these guys. It's incredible.
All right, let's do one last question.
Okay.
And then we'll get rolling. I gotta go see how my kids are doing.
I understand.
So Keith Moon or John Bonham, and why?
Bonham. I'm a huge Bonham fan. I think it's just a greasiness, John Bonham just, and again, this is two different contexts of bands, of the Who he could play busy, and it fit that style of music. Yeah. It was more, I don't even know if he used hi-hats on some stuff, but it was, it lent, Keith Moon and Led Zeppelin wouldn't have worked, John Bonham and the Who wouldn't have worked. You know what I mean? It's just the perfect drummers for that perfect gig. And I think I'm a Bonham fan just because I'm more of a groove-oriented drummer. But when people say that Keith Moon didn't groove or couldn't play a groove or anything, I beg to differ. I think that's absolutely not true. Go listen to The Seeker.
Yeah. And
there's some, man, I mean, there's so many grooves coming out of that guy, but I think he's known for more of the busyness that Keith Moon did. But I'm a Bonham guy. I love that he just had a swing to his playing that, again, can't be reciprocated. There's players out there that come close, and obviously his son Jason is an exceptional player, and Elon Rubin. If anybody hadn't checked out anything Elon Rubin does, holy moly, that dude! He's got a band called New Regime that is incredible, and he plays everything on the records, I'm pretty sure. And he's got the Bonham thing happening too, But there's a lot of players, but there's only one Bonham. There's only one Keith Moon. I think Zach Starkey does an incredible job with the Who. He captures that vibe. He's in my opinion, the best thing since Keith Moon in that. And that's not taking anything away from Phillips, of course, Simon Phillips. But I think for that style and that thing that the Who do, my opinion, I like Zach Starkey with that lineup better. And I think Jason Bonham killed it with Zeppelin when he played the O2 thing.
Yeah.
And
because Jason Bonham's coming to town this summer too.
Oh man, I mean that have you heard that band that he has?
YouTube stuff, but I haven't seen it live.
Oh my gosh, so good, and he does that stuff so much justice. He does a great job with it. And he's flying that flag for his dad and the rest of the band really, really, really well. Cool. So yeah, but I'm a Bonham guy. I even got there you go. I'm a huge Bonham fan. And
have you ever been asked to do Bonzo Bash?
I have never. And I'm kind of glad. I probably wouldn't be able to do it justice. It's been brought up a couple times, and it never really came through. But I would do it in a heartbeat. But I would be probably so nervous I wouldn't be able to play right.
Yeah. With that many of your peers around.
Oh, there's so many heavy hitters in that thing, man. I probably don't belong on that stage. I would love to do it, but at the same time, I would be so scared. to do it. I mean, you got Brian Tishy and all these guys, Carmine and all these guys that have done it, and Sutter and all these heavy hitters and Ray Luzier, all these guys, and I'd be like, here's little old me over here in the corner that nobody knows. But I would be honored to do it at some point,
But a great Carmine story.
Oh, I'm sure there are many.
Well, I used to try to do these things years ago with the school, to where we do like a Skype Q&A with the students would be in the room, and I'd hook the iPad up through the TV, and everybody could see. So I'd done with Rudy Sarzo.
Oh, nice.
The first one, and then I did it with Bruce Kulick, and then I was like, who else can I reach out to? So I reached out to Carmine, and he's like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll do it. And so we scheduled it for like this Saturday morning. That Wednesday night, he calls me up, and he's like, hey, I just want to like touch base about this whole Skype thing. I've never done that before. What do I need to do? And I'm like, well, make sure you got Skype on your phone, on your computer.
Right.
Do you have a webcam? I don't know. What is my webcam? So I end up spending like 15 minutes talking to Carmine on the phone
on technical issues.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna send you a request, and you're gonna hit accept. All right. Yeah. All right. Now you've accepted me. I'm gonna call you. Hit the little button that says video call.
Right.
And so it's like talking to my parents, trying to talk to them through computer technology.
Yeah. But did it work out?
It worked out. I ended up that night I probably spent half an hour talking to one of the biggest rock drum lesson legends.
I mean, golly.
Just hanging out. And then we got to do the Skype thing on that Saturday. So.
Carmine. One of my favorite Carmine solo or playing is on the Paul Stanley solo record, 78.
Yeah.
Take Together as One. Yesterday was far away out on the sea. He had his signature all over that song. Yeah. His drum fills all over the place. It's awesome. It's awesome.
So yeah, it was so funny just to talk to this guy that I've always looked up to. Be like, all right, now I got to be your IT guy.
Yeah, exactly. See,
talk you through this.
You never know. You never know. Is there any more questions we can button up before we go? Is there anybody at all?
Somebody did ask, how did you and your wife meet, and any plans for more kids?
Who asked that?
Where was that at? Cheryl.
Cheryl
Atkinson.
We met Cheryl. We met in Branson, Missouri, and as far as kids, I doubt it. I think we're probably done. We got one of each, and we are blessed with those two healthy children, and I think we're done. As far as now, you never know. I don't know. I'm old. I'm getting old.
You're stuck at home for quite a while.
I'm stuck at home for quite a while, man. I don't know. I doubt it.
Netflix and chill with Grey's Anatomy.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Every time I'm like, yeah, man, we could have another one. Then he's screaming in the other room. I'm like, I think, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
I can actually hear him. I hear him down there. He's not screaming right now, but
he's playing.
He's playing. He's having a good time with his sister. I'm sure she's antagonizing him and making him scream. But yeah, that's parenthood. The joys of parenthood, right? Y'all feel me. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
But
awesome. Yeah, that'll kind of wrap it up.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for doing this. If any of you feel inclined, follow the Rock Academy on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
And then if you really liked it and you are willing to send some payment this way to help us keep these things going, the Venmo address, where was that at?
I saw it. There it is. Yeah, Venmo at QC Rock Academy.
Yeah, and you can also PayPal if you
So take care of these guys. They're doing a beautiful thing over there at QC. So
thank you, man. And
thank you.
Whenever you're on tour and you're back in this area, we need to get you back to Rascals.
I would be honored. And you guys hit me up, and I'll, if there's anybody out there, I got a lot of downtime. If you guys want lessons or anything, or just want to shoot the breeze, just shoot me a personal message on my Facebook, and I'll get back to you and do my best. So
awesome. Well, we will talk to you soon, buddy.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, Greg.
Been fun.
You have a good day, man. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
All right, buddy.